Welcome back to Cannabis Legalization News. You're tuned in to the #1 podcast for cannabis law, policy, and the occasional rant. Today is February 8th, 2026, Super Bowl Sunday, and we've got a real federal fine print meets state chaos episode. The FDA is staring down a February 10th deadline on hemp definitions and cannabinoid lists. Subscribe to find out more on that. Meanwhile, states are trying to coordinate policy while the market keeps outrunning them. And the THCA fight is officially spilling into courtrooms and enforcement politics. Stick with us. We'll break down what's happening, who's trying to control the rules, and what it means for businesses, consumers, and anyone stuck navigating this patchwork of cannabis laws.
Let's go.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday, Seattle.
Hey,
how's it going over there? I bet your town's kind of tweaked right now.
Everybody has been, man. Yeah, it's totally the vibe, man. I can't wait. Let's see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, becomes a good week, month, whatever.
It'll be interesting.
Hey, how you
I'd like
doing?
to see you guys win, but that's for after the news summary.
There you
Let's
go.
see here. Good. Turn that on, turn that off. Okay. I can't breathe. And so, like, if you guys noticed in that intro or the outro, cannot breathe through my nose. Worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, FDA. And so tune in 2 days. Do you think that the FDA is going to actually do what it's supposed to do in 2 days? Because I don't.
I mean, it's kind of a big ask, dude. Like, I was looking at the article just now. FDA faces deadline to publish cannabinoid list and define hemp product containers under the law Trump signed. You know, going in the beginning, it talks about the executive order, blah, blah, blah. But after the bill was signed, the FDA was given 90 days to publish a list of all cannabinoids known to the FDA to be capable of naturally produced by cannabis. A list of all THC, tetrahydrocannabinol class cannabinoids known. So when this says class cannabinoids, is this referring to like the THCV? You know, that's something they need to elaborate on there. Yeah, all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's supposed to have all the cannabinoids that they're out there, and then the stuff that are like THC, the stuff that can get you high. And so it should be a comprehensive list of all the cannabinoids and also all the cannabinoids that can get you high. But I don't think they're going to publish it in 2 days on the 10th. They could surprise me.
I mean, if they do, because they're constantly finding out like the BCG shit and again, THCV, whatever the fuck that is, and all the other like just molecule type level of ways you could stretch this plant or things they find and be like, hey, that wasn't there before. You know, will they? Because there's
a comprehensive list that we need though for them to really try to make any changes to the hemp definition, because they want to have that list from the FDA so that they can go like, okay, these are the okay cannabinoids that can be in hemp. These are the cannabinoids that can't be in hemp. But we'll see. I mean, nothing's getting done. And so they also went on to quote people that are only in the hemp industry. And so, you know, marijuana moment is in the tank for the hemp industry because they like hemp.
Well, I think everybody's in the shill for the hemp shit. Like they think it's legal, but you know, and that's why I think our big discussion here, articles I picked were rescheduling and the hemp conversation, because the one thing I'll give hemp is like they kind of like expanded it to normies, right? Like people who just want to be like law-abiding citizens. Isn't that the whole fucking point of legalization? Is to be like a law-abiding, you know? And when people like Chris 420 Blazer are just like, hey, it's legal, man. It's all THCA, but like legal for you to sell, bro. It's legal because well, when I say that, I mean like you're willing to take the chance. You know what I mean? Like
it's but it's also really not legal.
Sure,
that's the thing. You know, if you get prosecuted, it is not a defense. It's you're benefiting from confusion. That's it, and that confusion is ending soon. But the big story is: will the FDA publish what they're supposed to publish on Tuesday? They're supposed to do a comprehensive list of all the known cannabinoids and the ones that are THC-like, so the ones that get you high. That is supposed to be published Tuesday the 10th. I don't think it's going to be done, but that was what was in that farm bill. Well, it wasn't a farm bill. That was in the definitional change of hemp when they reopened the government.
Oh, I thought that was an EO. My bad. I didn't.
No, the EO doesn't make executive orders are not laws, everybody.
Oh, so that was binding by the whole.
Yeah, this is by Congress. It was passed by
Got you,
Congress. Right.
got you. Because I mean, again, my ignorance on legislation process and things that process, like our next story, that involves PBS, NPR rather, hemp and marijuana, the same species, so why all the different laws? Again, I give this much to hemp to credit, right? Shout out to that guy, and also Himalayas. We had a person here from the Himalayas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Didn't know they have internet there.
Well, a lot of things, but this is a mainstream news type scenario where people just want to know how not to break the law, right? Like that's why I'm just so. Hemp has, with its original was industrial use, and since the Farm Bill, it's been bastardized, right, to be that, it's all good, bro. I can sell this to you, I can ship it to you. Just don't take a piss test. You know what I mean? We don't want to put that part in. Oh,
right. Yeah, just don't get caught with it or take a piss test. And so it's really not legal. But the way that they're kind of putting it, and then I didn't read that.
Well, it just elaborates on how hemp started with and the Farm Bill, and people have been pushing boundaries. That's what really gets to when it talks about the CBD industry. We started with this non-cannabinoid or this non-intoxicating cannabinoid, and people were like, "Whoa, there's always going to be a little THC in there, right?" Like,
not with the CBG genetics.
Is that what so they're pretty guaranteed as a harvest with the CBG genetics to not have any THC?
Right.
Okay. See, I don't know. I just
they've knocked it all out, and so like some of them are like actually genetically engineered from the University of Wisconsin. But that's where the CBG came in from, and those genetics were not the 20-to-1 ratio. You guys should just be thanking your lucky stars they didn't redefine hemp on a ratio basis or a hemp genetic basis, because they could have used genetic definitions of the cannabis plant as opposed to just does it have THC or is it a seed? That's it.
I think it's crazy how we digest this one plant, break it down to like fucking molecule components, right? How many other things do we break down to like, hey, corn? It's ethanol. It's also probably an alcohol. It can be or a feed, that it does. But do you really break it down to like, well, the yellow molecule versus the one that when they identify the one that can turn into alcohol, like a potato,
No, but those are potatoes. That's not ethyl alcohol. That's a completely different thing. And so like they regulate the alcohol, they don't regulate the potatoes. Here's the problem. Like, and then the dumb thing is they defined it with the presence of the THC that only arises when you bake the cookies or when you spark the bowl. Just really, I was watching Fallout, with Walter Goggins, where he doesn't have a nose, and I'm like,
yes,
envy that guy. I really envy. He doesn't have to worry about not breathing through his nose.
Have you been stuffed up for a while then, or is it just?
I've been stuffed up since Wednesday, and so like Wednesday came and it was just bad.
Oh man, dude, it's the weather too. I get better, man. Stop being sick. Wish it was that easy.
Well, it was a really cold January, so like you couldn't get outside. And so like now it's supposed to be warm. It'll be better, but now I'm broke. It's broke. Yeah.
Hey man, this next story. I thought this article was interesting. This post, the Cannabis Roundtable, the Governors Association. So, this is kind of like how policy kind of happens, right? Where these guys are all sitting around and talking about the effects in their prospective states and the ones that are about to be. I just thought it was really interesting, man. Like to have that part of a political discourse or legislative discourse, where this wouldn't happen 20 years ago.
National Governors Association having a roundtable on the stakeholders for cannabis and hemp policy. Sure. But, it's an election. This is officially the primary season. You're going to see people not be on the Hill. And then there's nothing that's not passed anymore. Like no laws need to get passed until the midterms. Even the federal government will run out of money September 30th, but then they'll just pass a CR because that's what they always do. And they'll pass a CR to keep the government open until after the election and then gone or debanked. I mean, they probably won't be gone. They'll probably be just like marijuana, but imagine marijuana without a license. So, yeah.
Well, everything about hemp is about people who've been taking a chance, right? Like the growers.
No, like a lot of the hemp people, not a lot, in the first days, 6-7 years ago. Yes, they weren't taking a chance. They were growing it for grain, for fiber, and for CBD. And then it became, I can't sell my CBD. What can we do? Chemistry. And then that's the thing. Like the definition says derivative, not more than this much THC in a dry weight basis. This is a soda. This ain't a fucking hemp derivative. Right. And so like, how much THC when you put in those 5 milligrams and there's 0 CBD in it, why does that count as hemp? Because it's less than 0.3% by dry weight basis. This is a soda. Your THC in it is 100% THC. So if I was a judge, I would have come down hard on that and been like, no, I'm reading the plain language. It does not say take hemp, mix it in anything. Magically, it becomes hemp.
No, I get it. But and again, in the people want to say it's an industry, and I hate, even though it is a collective market, but like no one ever questioned like the fact that, oh, we're gonna sell THC drinks at fucking the Chicago field, but yet you can still lose your job if you test hot, right? Like no one's really thought about the rules that should be applied for real legalization, right? We all agree home grow is part of the equation. Fucking because I was in Christopher 20 Blazes chat the other day, and I asked him 2 questions, dude. I was like, so come November, are you still going to be selling, and where do you source your product? Because that's the other thing about the market. When I say people who took risk were the farmers, and he was telling me how he's a drop shipment guy. He gets his shit from some broker, and which scares the hell out of me when it comes to that kind of thing. Because I mean, if I was the guy selling, because I want consistency in my products, I want reliable, knowledge-based producers. And with our store, we're going to have that. We're going to have nothing but Illinois licensed producers. And if there's an issue with that product, I can go straight to that guy and tell you, like, it's going to be isolated, right? It's not going to be like a generic, hey, I just slapped all this stuff, like white labeling stuff, like it's kind of, have that out there.
Yeah, we have chain of custody. We have recall. We have policies and procedures we must follow. We absolutely do.
But like when you're hey, it's that time.
Hey, it's 20 past the hour. Smoke them if you got them.
Hey, new member again. Thanks, dude.
New member? Who's that?
Oh, no, not new member. He's just saying hi.
Oh, cool. What's up? Yeah, members, you get your questions answered. You also get the videos early. I just did a video about the SCOTUS case that we'll have oral arguments on in about a month. And so there'll be more videos on your gun owner rights as a cannabis user. That one did pretty well. Our next story, I have a deck ready to go, and I'll be doing a video on that next week after I can breathe through my nose so I don't sound like I did that when I was doing my intro. And so like I tried to pronounce a word that had like TH in it. And so I'm like,
no, breathing sucks.
And it's not like I do any drugs with my nose. I don't even smoke cigarettes, I just got sick, and then I'm glad it's not a chest cold, but then it's still like a sinus cold. So it's
not tea, man. Get some tea. But yeah, our next story, dude, is the marijuana company sued dozens of smoke shops for selling THC flower.
Yep.
And this is back to my point, though, back to where these guys are just selling random, sourcing, like
unfair competition, they said. And so like we are doing all the sourcing, we're doing all the testing, we have our licenses, we pay our taxes, we pay our licensing fees, we play by all the rules, we have a regulator, and you just going right over the top and taking advantage of all of it.
Well, if you're going through like a hemp broker, right? Like this guy doesn't even have to make it all American hemp. I know you always say it's coming from Carolina and
Carolina, and then also Oklahoma. And so our story about Oklahoma, I think a lot of it, the chain of custody. And so the chain of custody that you have for the THCA flower versus the flower that you would sell or buy at a licensed dispensary are night and day differences. They aren't the same thing.
Yeah, they're 100%.
And so like, well, I have a COA. You're like, do you? And that's COAs from 2023.
Well, the other thing I question too is when these guys are sourcing, because supposedly this is their regulation, right? Their chain of events. You got the broker. The broker supposedly is vetting the each farmer, right? Because the farmer is supposedly going to have a hemp license. Wouldn't that be part of their legal chain? I guess, but are they all? That's my question. Is like because they're supplying this multi-billion-dollar industry that, I imagine there's a lot of outsourced products coming in from various countries, whether it be Africa or China. But
no, you can't import export hemp. I got a client that wanted to do it from Morocco, and
really,
we gave them here's how we do it. If we can, it's really impossible. And so that stuff that may be coming in from China, they aren't getting it in through legitimate means, or they're lying about what's on the bills of lading to get into the country.
Could be isolate though. Could they be selling isolate hemp isolate? Would that be a thing?
No, you're not going to get that in. That's going to be really difficult to get in.
Okay. I mean, I don't. Again,
the easiest way to get to the THC hemp into your system is to grow marijuana illegally and then slap a fake COA in there and then start selling it on the internet. That's it.
Sure. And I'm sure as we've talked about before, a lot of these regular markets are probably part of that, right?
Not Illinois, but Oklahoma,
yeah.
Colorado, California, not necessarily Colorado. Michigan has a problem. Michigan has a pretty big problem of it with because of how open their licensing system is. And so one of the reasons why license have limits is because you have regulators. And so if you have an unlimited license scheme, good luck trying to keep it regulated. See Oklahoma, see Oregon, see California, see Michigan. It just becomes, and then it'd be one thing if the entire states were legal. And so there's no motive for people to be creating off the books liquor in our country because every state has liquor. Now, if you had the opposite, like you have with marijuana, there's incentive to create off the books marijuana.
And Oregon's done a good job with it, though. I mean, you mentioned them, but they're actually cracking down on various grows that are popping up.
Good.
In the THC story, we do have key quotes. We sat by and watched this grow with disbelief, McHugh said. They're selling marijuana to anyone, and they're arguing that they have the right to do this, whether it be to a kid, whether it be somebody picking up with DoorDash with no regulation, no guidelines, no guardrails, and it's getting bigger and bigger. That's from Attorney for a Coalition. And again, when it comes to this plant, I just think hemp lab testing should be the regulation, but we still need all the rules to protect
lab testing, age gating, and so that's kind of how it is. Then that's fine. But let's make our money back first, and then you can ruin the business model. But the business model is not going to get ruined in the sense that you can't you are like a super stoner, and so you represent an insular minority of 1% of the population.
Well, I think anybody
because you're not a billionaire.
Well, anybody watching us is that 1%, right? Like you always say, they're not the stoner you are, right? Plenty of people in the chat, what up, chat, that are always it needs to be descheduled when we talk about rescheduling. Well, no shit, man. I would want that. I want everybody. I want to be able to take a pound across state lines and sell it without any recourse.
No, you can't even do that for tobacco. You can't do that for beer. I stocked up on some Seattle beer, but the Seattle beer that we get in Illinois is only space dust. It's not made in Seattle. It arose in Seattle, and then it entered into contracts with distributors that can get it over here. I can't get any of that Big R Rainier beer. Well, even though my dog's named Rainier, but still,
doesn't that come to distributors though, right? That comes down to
licensing,
a choice,
licensing.
What if have you been into one of those bars that has 10,000 beers, right? If you had a bar at one of those bars, couldn't they say, okay, we're going to have a Legion on tap and we actually pay that cost to get it shipped out here from Seattle, right?
Right.
Couldn't they just purchase it? But then that's on them, their onus to create that, that value for how much it's going to cost. Anybody can still do it, but it's still... what's the bottom line to get it something?
With alcohol, it's regulated. It's licenses.
Sure.
And so the alcohol market, especially when it comes to distribution, that's a limited market. It's a highly limited market. To try to be a liquor distributor, go for it. Give good luck on that.
I get that. Yeah. Well, there's so many logistics, but the thing is, though, if you had Bezos money, you can pretty much do whatever the fuck you want to create that industry, right? Where
I don't know. Like even Elon Musk couldn't do shit with Doge. Like
well,
the federal government is bigger than the biggest billionaire we have.
no, but Doge is the joke. That was not even like a real practical way of like cutting costs. Whereas like I'm just saying, like you're saying, there's no Elysian beer in Chicago because
There's Elysian beer, but then it's because of contracts through distribution.
Sure.
There's no Big R. There's no like Rainier beer. So like if I wanted to get that, I can't because there's no contracts through the distribution. And so you need to have that distribution through the license holders. And if you don't have it, you can't get in to the whole market. Like Yingling Beer, for example, is a very large brewery on the East Coast. It's still not in Wisconsin. Wisconsin breweries, they will not export their beer to Illinois. And so they got the license markets, and it's just this huge misconception. It's like, oh, you know, free market in America. It's like there are no effing free markets in America. Point to one. Any market. Show me a free market in America.
No, but what I'm saying, like the free market, unfortunately, everything's about money, right? Like how we get our laws passed. But where, let's say, pretend I want to open a bar just selling Rainier beer in Peoria, and I had a shit ton of money. Could I just order it how I wanted?
No, you would need distribution rights. And so you would need to call the distributor and say like, hey, I own this Rainier brewery. I would like to, or you could, this is the other way you could do it. You could call a licensed brewery in Illinois and get an IP license agreement, and you'd go there and you'd show them how to brew the beer. And it's like Budweiser. And so Budweiser has those breweries throughout the United States brewing Budweiser.
Right.
And that you could do, and that would probably be the easiest way to do it, as opposed to like trying to get the right to distribute from wherever Rainier is brewed in Washington State,
right,
to deliver it to the taps in Peoria, Illinois.
Why is that? What is stopping a truck from carrying
because the distributors are at a state by state license level.
Oh, so like someone across state lines would have to pay,
or it would have to be earmarked for that state. And so it's similar with like tobacco. So every state has the tobacco stamp on their pack of smokes, so that they know that the smokes taxes were paid. So what I'm saying is, like, even with full legalization, the licensing market's not going to go away. If anything, you're just going to see the licensing market be more like how it is for alcohol and tobacco, where you still don't have real interstate commerce like you do with Coca-Cola, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, even legalization, like per se, it's more about getting caught with it than it is about like being in business. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. So I mean, speaking of, go ahead.
Able to share. I'm trying to share. I wanted to share the app that I coded yesterday, because like we're talking about politics and stuff. Here, let me send it over to you.
Oops, wrong one.
Let me send it in the private chat, and then you can pull it up, because I'm not allowed to share any more screens because I have the stuff about the dispensary that I'll talk about later shared. So I just sent it to you. Yeah. And so guess who's vibe coding? Me. Anyway, and so one of the things that we'll be doing and so right now we are waiting and you can sign up. And so one of the things we'll have is this app. It's there right now. Eventually it'll have its own URL. It's got a URL, but like its own URL. Right now it's hosted on Vercel, which is a pretty popular host for web apps that you build. And this is going to be the way that we can lobby in mass for particular issues that we want. Right now, I'm waiting for an API key to be granted to me by I can't remember the name of the large website, like Lexiscan or something like that, where all the bills, and so like they scrape, or they don't necessarily scrape, they have an API for all of the states, for all the legislation, and for the federal government, like Lexiscan, I think is what it is. Okay. And so that Lexiscan, they must not work weekends. And so I asked for the API key yesterday, still haven't gotten it. So then when I get the API key for that, I'll plug that in, and then I'll refactor it so that it's easier for us to use, and it'll auto populate for hemp, marijuana, and in your state and also at the federal level. And then you can call your elected officials or write them letters about particular things. And so, yeah, there you go. There's general consulate scripts, and I'm putting the YouTube channel in there as well. And so, yeah, it's got a magic link. It's really easy to sign up. That's our first foray into web dev for the channel.
That's awesome, dude. That's pretty clean too. Wow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like that is Codex with ChatGPT 5.3.
You really digging into that?
Yep. Well, I'm not fucking paying Hoodie $21,000 for analytics. I'm just gonna go get the data myself and create my own website.
There you go. Hey, so we got cops that are pro rescheduling too. I mean,
are they getting paid?
Well, this one's in Missouri. It's an article. Former St. Louis officer who part of LEAP. If you don't know, LEAP's law enforcement.
Yep, LEAP.
So is the shit. I thought I read it wrong. Yeah. And again, these cops are pro rescheduling. Sam is anti rescheduling. What side? I don't know what,
right.
You know what I mean? Upside down world we are.
Well, the cops always say that they never have a problem with cannabis. It's always the drunks. It's not the people that are on cannabis that they have to worry about. It's the drunks.
Yeah, no, and that's why we've been advocating, man. Like, just legalization would just make society so much better, right? Like
it would. And then I'm broadcasting from the corporate office in Peoria, Illinois. This week we get the internet installed at the dispensary, and so maybe next week I can broadcast from the dispensary because I'll be able to have internet. It's still a work in progress, but we do have a few things that we can share with everybody who's tuning in about it. And so let's show them a quick view of let's go through this, and then after that we can then get to the logos that we kind of have for right now. How do I hit play? I think I have to hit it from here. Here is the waiting area. Check your IDs. Little area to wait. That'll be the local corner. We'll have a featured local business, and then the sales floor. All the cameras are in place, and that is all by regulation. Everything. Isn't that silly?
Yeah.
See that little hole right there? That is by regulation. You're not allowed to have a pass-through larger than that. Look at this stupid door. Completely installed. Look at that. That is by regulation. You have to have a vault like this in Illinois. Keeping it the right temp. Isn't that insane? That is just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And you must do it. Like, the door has regulations. Here's the break room. Yeah.
And again, Tom and I agree. Like, half the regulations are redonkulous, but you have to do them. It's the silliest.
Shelves. And then of course it's really not that large of a thing. Yeah, I have to check and see if Ohio or if Illinois has the worst regulations when it comes to the security. Once the city approves, so the rest of the drops. And then there's cameras all over the place. Accepting
I think that's every state's security right now. That's no.
There. Bathrooms installed there. We're going to do big conclusion. I finally am going to be able to say that I have a company that owns a urinal. We even have our first and only, I think, urinal. Check that out. We got a urinal, guys.
It's a 180-year-old building.
It was built in 1915, but the area goes back to like 1877 or something like that. So I'm not sure if it's from before 1915, but I think it's a 115-year-old or 110-year-old building.
It is a big ass building. We're only working on one floor.
We're only working on one floor because ADA compliance.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny too about this whole regulation and legalization? It's so still the interaction that the Illinois regulators have made it so like that little hole in the wall, that killed me when I went to New Era and they had to the guy pushed a button and then he just turned around and waited for the little roll around. Like, why is there gotta be like 5 hands in between me and my weed? You know, it's excess. But
I don't know. Then we're working on our had that one. So, we have our little got our logos getting going. We had a logo contest and about 200 votes, and they picked this one. So Pekin's local dispensary and supply. So fire is okay, and then they're the dragons, the Pekin dragons. So it kind of goes with that, but it doesn't look like cannabis leaves, and so I think that this is all legal in the sense that it will not say the compliance is just silly. The amount of compliance that you have to have. So like when we were doing it, with the logo contest, I had like another post. Here are the rules, and the rules were just like very, very silly. It's like cannot appeal to children. No cannabis imagery. Like stuff like
no
that.
leaf.
No leaves. No buds. Yeah.
Like the
cannot. And you cannot do something that like insinuates that you're trying to encourage excessive consumption.
Even though we want you to buy it all. I'm thinking, dude, when I come out there eventually too, again, using that tattoo shop, and I might get the logo tattooed. There
you go.
My next piece. But
probably be open in a month. Soft open at least.
Soft. Hey, we have our next story, which is it's an article coming from some sort of federal security because people in the know need to know, like, how can this affect me? And they're just like trying to analyze how the EO, the executive order, what's it mean for your security clearance? And it's funny, dude, because like for security clearance, like I had a friend, his dad did security clearances. He's a retired fucking SEAL or some shit. No, EO, ED. Anyways, he was like, you know what? You could fucking murder somebody, but as long as you're honest on your clearance, you're gonna get it, because it's all about like trust, right, with the government, or your loyalty and all that shit. Like being in debt can work against your security clearance. But with rescheduling, though, the rules are gonna have to change, because most drug tests are for 1 and 2, and 3 would be a nice little buffer for people with scripts, right? This is gonna go ahead.
Federal legalization would be great.
Yeah.
We should much rather be incentivizing pain management through the cannabis plant than through the opioid.
It's a wellness thing. It's a holistic wellness. If you feel deprived of vitamins, well, maybe your endocannabinoid system's low. Maybe you need to recharge it. But I just think it's neat to see the topic always being covered in like I said, the normies, right? Like the people. Dude, again, everybody's a normie, right? Like people, you and I again are the 1% stoner who's like been trying to change the rules since beginning time.
We give a shit.
We're
aberrations.
Yeah, well, you want to make money the legal way too. Most, I think, people who watch us are either some people actually actively in the industry, or just consumers who just don't want to go to jail.
They want in the industry, they're in the industry, or they're consumers, or they're activists that want it legal. And what are we going to do when it's legal? Oh yeah, we'll be dead before it's legal. That's how slow this is going.
Yeah.
Safe banking. You really think if the Democrats get control of the House and the Senate after the midterms, we're going to get anything except for impeach Donald Trump fest for 2 years?
Dude, we're not getting shit now. It's like, okay, if we can just reschedule it, that'd be a nice start. And because nothing's going to happen right away, right? Like everybody freaks out and is going, oh, you're gonna get the big pharma. Oh, fucking, it's not worth banking. Or, well, motherfucker, you've been buying shit illegally already. What's gonna fucking change the way you've been doing it before? Or you're not nothing. What's gonna change is opportunity for other people to actually create a business, or argue it in court when they lose their job.
Right. Have some parity with alcohol, or at least the opioids. Having a legal system that allows for the cannabis plant will be good for the country, but then they politicize it. That's the thing that's the most despicable, is they politicize the cannabis plant, and they politicize everything. Like there's just like Elon Musk uses X as a propaganda wing for XAI.
Yeah.
And he talks about like how there's voter fraud with mail-in ballots. You mean grandma and grandpa, they're committing fraud? Have you ever like been an election judge? Have you seen how election judges do what they do when they're counting the votes? There's Republicans, there's Democrats. Nobody's getting anything past that. But, people are just weird, and they're also really tribal, and they believe what they believe, and you could show them facts, data, and evidence, and they'll be like, AI, it was AI.
Well, someone put in the comments about the wait for Trump to say the N-word out loud. But that's the thing though. We want rules that will like protect you, not like just free for all. Hey, I can sell it to you and send it to you online. I want just it's a much ado about nothing that we need rules to protect you, and right now we don't have those. Instead, we have silly stuff like this, which I had to bring it up. I had to put it in there, but I'm not a big fan of Jeter. But Jeter drops cannabis pre-roll and apparel capsule collection for Super Bowl, and they're doing that thing with Marshawn Lynch, who's been his brand Doty. They got pretty good weed out here in Washington State. I don't know who the grow is.
They do have good weed in Washington State. That's the thing,
Well, Doty's a brand,
Michigan.
But Marshawn Lynch has a brand. He has a cannabis brand.
Good.
And it's really good out here. But of course, this is in California, so I don't know who. It's not going to be the same grow. That's the thing about brands. I think is kind of funny how you're going to try and establish something, but yet each state is individually going to be different because of the grow. Right.
Well, it's the same thing. Like all that Budweiser all across the United States, or the McDonald's, and it's a botanical. And so like, it's different. It's not, it's because with brewing, but then it gets back down to like whiskey. And so like whiskeys with its water input can change the flavor of the whiskey that you have. It's one of the reasons why they made so much alcohol right out back here is because we have limestone and an aquifer under Peoria, Illinois. And so it had the right type of mineral content to make decent tasting whiskey.
Wow.
But those types of things are difficult to have the right inputs for, especially when you're growing it. But I've eaten a lot of strawberries. Every single one of them tasted like a strawberry. And so like, I think that if you have the right type of oversight with your IP licensing agreement, you should be okay. Because that IP licensing agreement might come with SOPs for growing the particular genetics that you're licensing.
Well, the reason why I bring this up, because like I think it's always funny as media, it's that time of the year. Next week is going to be Valentine's Day, and you're going to have those articles coming out. Get this for your honey or whatever. But I can only advise you on Washington State products, and you're not going to be able to order them. You know what I mean? It's not a thing for you.
Oh no, we'll get them. Like I got to check in on Mr. Baraki, see how things are coming down in Havana, if they're open yet. We might be able to stock Washington brands.
But you're talking about like in the future when the federal stuff happens, right?
No, I mean like he's got a grow that I sold him an hour south of here to power his dispensaries and stuff in Illinois, and he was contracting with growers from Washington State and flying them over to do his Illinois grow. So like that's how we get Washington State weed into Illinois and then on our shelves.
That's what you're saying. Yeah. And again, though, I mean, I guess that's a way to do it. I don't know. I'm just more thinking terroir and
but you're not allowed to do terroir in a lot of these locations. Like Virginia, you can grow outdoor in Virginia. Michigan, you can grow outdoor. Illinois, you're not allowed to grow outdoor. Some of our MSOs do it, and then they sue the state to say, try to stop me.
Sure. But again, we're not at the point, though, where I could write an article or do a video where I say, hey, because here at Washington State, we have a brand called Velvet Swing, and it's a sexual lube that's like infused. And it's like, yeah, good luck. This is that was what I was trying to go with. Is like how, I'm just trying to be cheeky with the Super Bowl, Valentine's. Dude, this topic sucks. That was the other thing I Chris 420 Blaze was talking about. He's all like, can't talk about policy. Yeah, no shit, man. This is the worst fucking part of legalization. Like I want to be like funny, haha, most of the time, but it's like it's really not like that. Until we get fairness, until we get that parity and all that shit.
We'll get that app going, and then we'll try to get everybody who tunes into the channel on it. And then when there is a particular piece of legislation that's up at the federal level, see if we can get like 10,000 people to call.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, or like 10,000 emails, or at the state level, flood the emails to there. But it's a brand new web app, and I still need to get that API access, and after that I can play with it, and then we'll get a domain for it, probably CLA action or CLN action.
Well, we're also trying
whatever.
to you're also trying to open a store and get like not.
The store takes forever.
Yeah,
like the store, it looks like we'll be ready to. And so like I get the internet, and then I get the sign guy out there, and then we have to get our CO. And so if our CO comes in from the city, then we can get the regulators out there to inspect it. And then if we get the regulators out there to inspect it, they'll probably come back again because they like to bounce you at least the first time. And we still haven't even heard from the state about our social equity loan.
Yeah. Okay, this is the good times of trying to be an up and coming business.
That's right.
I got some good weed news though out of Minnesota. So there was a raid on in White Earth Nation. The court came back and said state lacks authority to prosecute Indian country pot case. So my man here, Todd Thompson, we're going to do an interview, but every time we coordinated, it was just off. But he got raided, and like there's still controversy about how he got raided because they're saying some of the people on the res, some elders probably invited the state police in. That's kind of like a whole like boundary.
Like sinners, like the vampires.
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Well, Hawaii's working on the law like that. Like you have to like give me permission with a gun to come in your building or something. I don't know, but yeah. So this case was pending for like almost 2 years. This is another thing about like legislation, justice, right? Like sometimes there's a court case like 2 years. He's been going through this process, but they finally overturned it, and they said they can't prosecute him. Matter of fact, he got raided the day of legalization kicked in Minnesota. Wow, kind of crazy, but good news.
Speaking of good news, let's do some Name That Strain. I did not update it on our website, and so I'm going to need to.
I see the name.
Google to pull this up, and I'll also share it so you can have some. It is a hybrid, of course.
Is it from Relief?
Yep, it's another from Relief Botanicals. They are licensed craft grower. Some of the people in our comments think that Illinois irradiates all of its weed. I don't think that they irradiate any of their weed. This is a hybrid strain that is a genetic cross between GMO and mimosa.
Well, is radiation bad? How do you know if it was getting radiated before or not?
Yeah, the burgers that they eat probably get irradiated, and they don't even bat an eye.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. As we judge the process of what's becoming the industry, did you know even during when it was like prohibition days, you're like, because maybe they were radiating the weed back then. Do you fucking know? I don't know.
I think irradiation is a fairly new thing to kill germs.
It is.
But this one was created by 7 Leaf OK, a local community of growers that are dedicated to their patients. It can go over 30% THC, they say. I'm not sure about that. Medical marijuana patients like it if they are dealing with stress, pain, and depression. Flavors are fruity, citrus, and tropical. Dominant terpene is myrcene.
Daytime use. Did you find the cross? I got the cross.
Yeah, its parents are GMO mimosa. I put it in the private chat.
Oh shit! There you go. I saw it. Well, I saw the name. I googled it, and AI overview gave me a pretty nice little description. Nice. The name's kind of funny though. I wonder what the origins of the name is. It's like a Polynesian name almost.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, considering it's like GMO mimosa. Why they would pick that, but.
I mean, I guess it's better than like dog poop.
Cat better poop. Than dog poop. Yeah, it's some Labrador in this, man.
You see,
originates my dog around. God, the joke is 50-some years old, and it's still good.
It is. It's a Venezuelan name.
Oh, it's a Venezuelan name, is it?
Yeah, interesting.
Let's see here.
Come on, Chris, Google it. You got this.
Pretty close, but that is the GMO cross with mimosa is not what this one's coming up with.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Can't
All
wait
right.
to.
Well, here is something that will completely give it away. Ta-da! Yeah. Then, if they just had like they didn't give it in there, I could read it. But citrus aroma, earthy notes, uplifting, clear-headed effects, balanced hybrid, great for daytime use. Cara from Relief Botanicals. Looking forward to trying that one later.
That's your name in Valencia, Venezuela. That's where it's at. That's I had a that weird was just name. Yeah, they got a Cara.
Cara,
Not Labrador.
Labrador. That's the name of a strain that, like, if you did, you might get a cease and desist from Tommy Chunk.
Yeah. So we got Oklahoma AG targets black market marijuana. Says he wants the industry gone, but he also wants medical gone. Have you seen that noise coming out of Oklahoma?
The Oklahoma story that came out. Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond has an Operation Blunt Force. That sounds like something law enforcement would do.
Of course.
Take down criminal organizations in black market marijuana across 8 states. They arrested Hao Chen, and so Chinese crimes. As a lawyer, he's concerned about the taking of this law enforcement officer. I'd love it to be gone. There we go. Criminal enterprise is responsible for more than $1.5 billion of illegal black market marijuana, money laundering, and racketeering. Again, completely the fault of Congress for not legalizing it. You wouldn't be able to do all this black market sales, and maybe we should call it illegal. They don't need to put the word black market in there. Illicit market sales and money laundering, if it was not a Schedule I substance. If all the transactions weren't literally money laundering under this law, it wouldn't have to be there. Nobody's doing nobody is trying to sell black market liquor. Maybe some people in Kentucky.
No, and it's, if we had that federal parity, it gives us a start to work with, but we don't. We don't have any. Rescheduling is not going to be it's just a snowball. It's not.
It's research, and it's tax reform, and hopefully it gets Congress to start changing the statute, because it's still going to be illegal, but then it's going to be less illegal. And hopefully then you'll see Congress start to change the statute. But I think you really need it from the administration. And so, like Biden, he did not want it legal. Donald Trump, he does not want it legal. And so I don't know who's going to win in 2028. Hopefully him or her wants it legal.
Well, and again, once you get this federal rule, it's a start where you can't repeal things back like the recent hemp shit, right? I want the kind of legalization that can't be taken back. I want something that just says we are stuck with, you being able to make your purchases. You know what I mean? To for this person to be allowed to grow or start a business, but we don't have those rules. It's just as easy for someone to say, I don't, which they did. They said, I don't like hemp. They said,
and then it's like, I'm Rand Paul. I'm taking some hemp money. I'm going to try to get it out. And the Senate said no. 3 out of 4 senators agreed. Get the fuck out of here.
Lock it in as something that's medicinal. We do have to create new organic rules, right? That would be the forthcoming next fucking champion if you want to fight for legalization. But you didn't get it with hemp. You didn't get it with the Farm Bill.
There hasn't been a Farm Bill. There hasn't been a Farm Bill since 2018.
Yeah.
And most of that has nothing to do with hemp. It has everything to do with SNAP benefits, which were tackled earlier. And so that's already off the table.
Yeah.
Either way, like, our main story for today was what's going to happen come Tuesday on the 10th. I'll be in court. Another matter, fraud. But I will also be watching to see if the FDA publishes a list. If I was betting, I'd say no. And then you want to know why your industry is not important? There is no poly markets on anything when it comes to weed. I think it's because it's about weed, and they will delete it because they don't want Stripe to revoke their payment gateway.
Wow. There's no poly markets on weed at all.
I don't think there's any poly markets on weed.
You would think the fucking just the legalization of it would be like a number one thing. Like that's an over under anybody can fucking put on behind, you know. And unless I guess unless you're
betting, there's going to be a lot of betting today. If marijuana legalization was gambling, it'd be over by now.
Man, go Hawks.
Yep, go Seahawks. I'm going to be enjoying some Seattle beer. What do they call it? Elysian?
Elysian. Yeah, Elysian.
Yeah. Space Dust. Oh, next week I was on Riley from Cannabis podcast last week, so check that out. It's should be in your feeds if you guys have liked and subscribed, and you probably have if you've made it this far. We'll have her on next week to discuss what she does, and you guys will probably be very familiar with her. And then we'll be a little bit closer. Maybe I'll be in at the shop, but probably not. I don't think I'm going to start doing the podcast from the shop until the construction's done.
Yeah, I mean, you need a good space. Yeah, we got a couple more stories. We want to wrap it up. Hey, you know,
I thought that was the last one.
We got Yost, the one, the Ohio Attorney General.
Oh goodness, yeah, this is another one of the podcast. Another one that I'll be doing a slide deck on. So yeah, Yost, and they are suing the MSOs in Ohio for a lot of things. Do they have it right there? What's the list? Yeah. No, that's the list of who they're suing: Verano, True Leaf, Juicy, basically all the MSOs.
Entering into reciprocal trade agreements with competitors, sharing
price fixing.
Yeah.
Antitrust, competitors and competing, not backroom deals that rig the system for a few. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they would have shelf space allotment agreements, but then shelf space agreements or slating agreements, what they call in retail, are fairly common. I think it's the price fixing, which was really the aspect of it. Trying to keep prices artificially high in Ohio. No, the things that are keeping prices artificially high in Ohio is that it is a very limited license system and structure. Also, I don't think that the Attorney General or the governor or the administration in Ohio particularly likes the industry.
Well, I mean, Ohio does the weird thing about selling tenths, or whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, they sell tenths.
The fuck? Who fucking just do your own math? Just gonna make up my own shit. Never heard of a tenth in my life. Like, was that ever a thing? You know what I mean? Anyways.
Yep. And so yeah, Ascend, Air Wellness, the Cannabis Company, Cresco, Curleaf, GTI, Juicy, True Leaf, Verano. And it's too bad that 10 years ago they thought that they were going to get this thing legalized real quick, and they tried to go corporate fast. And so all these, MSOs got birthed back then, and all their investors have lost millions of dollars.
R.I.P. MedMen. I mean, that's the thing, right? They grow too fast, right? Everybody want to be Walmart, McDonald's. I just want right now. BP.
But they were just wrong. Like their investment thesis was just wrong, and they've gotten this large, and so now I don't know if any of them are profitable. I mean, GTI, they just keep touting how they got their beverages into the United Center, and their beverages are illegal come November.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, who's still gonna be? Well, wouldn't like right now is the time, like you talked about how it's not so much the rules and police coming after people, but like say the bankers not wanting to invest, right? It's about the funding, and then who's self-sustaining as a hemp person or whatever. That would be interesting to see, because it seems with cannabis, it's success that gets punished, right? Like every dealer, during the medical days, like Luke Scarmazzo and Lance Glore, they had brick front stores that were just really good. Yeah, they were raking in millions of dollars and had to pay minimum taxes because they were here in Washington State. It was just a business, and I don't know how it worked in California, which I imagine he was working on their collective model. But either way, they were being just what is now legalization store, right? That's paying mad taxes and fucked up overhead. meeting these safe regulations. You know, these guys were doing it when it wasn't. They got punished for being successful. I don't know. It just seems that's until we get rules that establish and give everybody a fair chance. The federal way is the ones to start, you know?
Right. Or at least here are the rules. There's no such thing as a fair chance. The wealthy always have the upper hand.
Yeah, that's true.
And so if you really want a fair chance, support license limits when it comes to ownership caps and restrictions. And so like in Illinois, you can only have 10 dispensaries. In Virginia, 5 licenses, you know, but if you don't have those types of license caps, you're going to have some issues.
All right. Well, hey, go Hawks. Let's do this.
Go Hawks. All right. We'll see you guys next weekend. And now for our final thought. You take one thing from today's stories, it's this. Cannabis policy is still being written in real time, and the people writing it are not always the people who understand the plant or the market. The FDA deadline, the hemp versus marijuana thing, states trying to coordinate lawsuits over THCA or markets, tribal jurisdiction limits, and the Oklahoma AG saying he wants the whole industry gone in Ohio's antitrust fight all point to the same theme. Prohibition didn't disappear. It's fractured into 1,000 conflicting incentives. The next phase of legalization won't be decided by slogans. It will be decided by definitions, enforcement authority, and who gets to write the rules of competition. So here's hoping it's us. See you next time. The federal shift towards Schedule 3 doesn't rewrite your license strategy. Having the right dispensary footprint and operational playbook in place before regulators fully implement that new policy. That's where Collateral Base comes in. We help cannabis businesses win dispensary licenses, structure compliant operations, and manage stores. Link below to help clients navigate licensing, compliance, and operations so they win in the new regulatory era.